Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Live from the Den. Legacy Internet Radio. Appreciate everybody rocking with us tonight as we progress throughout the duration and the balance of the show. I want to say thank you to all of the ladies who joined us in that first segment. Our sister Angie B, our sister Shayla, and Shamika talked to us about no glass ceilings, as well as saving families. Two outstanding organizations that have found their way towards each other. And so thanking them for that. Of course, you just heard the music we just played. Shout out to UTFO that lost founding member, the educated rapper. I was a big UTFO fan in the 80s when it came out. And, of course, Roxanne was everybody's favorite song that jumped off a whole lot of specific Roxanne-esque type songs. And so we, of course, as a internet radio station dedicated to old school hip hop, R&B, soul, pop, and reggae, we would be remiss if we did not send our condolences to the brother's family. He's a pioneer in hip hop, and we wanted to show him some love. Ain't no half step with Marcus J. Live from the Den. Legacy Internet Radio. You heard her on the other side before we went to break and before we had that outstanding interview with the ladies. You heard our sister Q Boogie. I just like saying that.
You got her on camera?
I got her on camera, and of course you know that voice. That's the voice of founding member Legacy Internet Radio. I call him the inspiration or the legend. And I know it embarrasses him. That's why
I'm the Jerobi of the crew.
He's the He's there. You go. Jerobi.
I'm the Jerobi of the crew.
For those of Tribe Called Quest fans,
right.
Y'all know Jerobi has always been a member of Tribe Called Quest, but sometimes you just don't see him.
You don't see him.
Sometimes you just don't see him.
But he holding them down. But P.O.P. baby.
You know he there even when you don't see him. So peace to Jerobi. I'm gonna use that.
Yeah, thank you. You can have it.
We'll call you Jerobi. So what's up, Grizz?
Not much, man. I'm here, baby.
What we doing tonight after Ain't No Hashtag with Marcus J?
Oh man, we got episode 2 of the Last Laugh podcast with your host, me, Jay Grizzy, comedian, comedian Benny Blanco Perry, sat down with us, and we got some good material. That we laid down. I thought it was a very interesting conversation, and I always have trouble when I try to say big words. Exemplifies how I want the podcast to go down. Yeah. So make sure y'all check that out immediately after you check out Marcus J. Ain't No Half Step. Appreciate being here, bro.
You got it. Now, before we get into the show, before we get into the next piece of the show, there's a clip that I want to play that I want you guys to listen to. It's a black man and a white man, and they're basically having a debate. It's Fox News type of dude who's having a discussion with an activist by the name of Cornell X. And it doesn't appear that they were quite ready for what they got when they asked this brother to show up on Fox News. So I'm going to have you guys take a listen to this Facebook Live. Just take a listen. We'll try to not be in here wilding out while we're in here listening to this. And it's the reason why I'm going to play this clip is because it's going to lead us to the rest of the discussion when we're talking about Bill Maher and even Kathy Griffin to a lesser degree. So listening to the flagship show, Ain't No Hashtag with Marcus J. Take a listen to this clip. Be back in a minute.
So Cornell, I want to talk to you about this last week. This young 10-year-old, very intelligent-looking young lady, a black young lady at a Pearland school who will not stand for the Pledge of Allegiance in her classroom. She doesn't want to stand up because apparently she believes that black Americans need a lot more to be done in this country. She is not willing to support the black Americans that have fought and died for this country. You know what I believe, Cornell? And I know you supported her publicly, but you know what I think? I think at 10 years old, she has no real understanding of what America is. So I wonder if her parents have sat her down and explained what Americans have given their lives, white, black, red. It doesn't make any difference. They stood and they fought and they died for this country, and she doesn't want to do anything to honor them?
Matt, she comes from a family of military service members. Her father's is a retired military service member also who served this nation well with great dignity. She also has additional family members who was in the armed forces.
Good.
Her mother's a very intelligent woman who has had long conversations as well as her father about her not standing for the flag. What white people need to understand
Just
is that,
white people?
Yes, please. Let me explain. What white people need to understand is that that national anthem was written by Francis Scott Key, a slave owner.
Oh, here we go.
Who demonized and hated black slaves and black people. And that unwritten third, that unheard of and unspoken third verse, go research the third verse where he says, there's no refuge in this country for the hireling or the slave. Both should be turmoil to the grave.
How's her parents doing?
This is a man
Are they successful?
that promised turmoil for black people to the
So
grave. Would you ask
her
Jewish children to
parents
say
are
a pledge
successful.
to a German
Of
anthem that disrespects Jewish people?
If they're
No, you
living
would
in
not.
Germany,
No,
sure.
you would not.
Well, sure.
That disrespects Jewish people?
Then
No,
why
you would not.
you certainly can kneel down. In America, you have the right to do that. But what will happen to her, how her friends will respond, how the school will view her, how Americans will view her is very negative. This is not what you want for your 10-year-old child.
And let me say to that young girl and others like that young girl, America looked at the same way at Rosa Parks when she refused to get up and give up her seat to a white man on the bus. But history vindicated her. History vindicated her.
Two different
America
things.
demonized Harriet Tubman for freeing slaves from slavery, but history vindicated her. So I say to that young girl, you stand strong, stand up, and stand for what you believe in. And to all of those who are too coward to do it, don't get in that young girl's way and others
What
like
would
her.
you like
Support
her,
that young
What
girl.
would you like her to say to the men and women who have fought for this country like I ran into over the weekend, the black men and women who fought for this country, and some who gave their
And
lives?
ask the black men and women who served America in its military, like in the Independence War. We helped America get it, and we were still slaves afterwards. Ask those in Vietnam who gave their war on Vietnam battlefields, but then came back and was called niggers in their own country. We have fought in America's war, and we've never been given the justice and the due process of everybody else in this nation.
Then
So
why don't you
under this right.
move to a different country? Why are you staying here if you don't like it?
Let me tell you why. Because the country belongs to Indians. You white folks stole it from them, raped and robbed their people. This not your country. You all came over here and stole it and beat the hell out of them. So this not your country.
It was my country.
You all need to go home.
If you're
you
not
all need to go back where you came from.
If you don't like it, why don't you pack up and go?
Let the Indians decide who should pack up and go, and I guarantee you black folks will stay, and you all will be on the first damn boat leaving here. So don't try that, brother. You ought to make America. This is not your country.
What you should do is sit down with someone who has fought for this country, Quanell. Get their opinion, too.
Tons of black people have, and what have we gotten from it?
Ain't no hashtag with Marcus J. Live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. Sound like a pretty damn well, yeah.
So Quanell,
we still
dinging
dinging there. It sounds to me like pretty much like a drop the mic moment, but you know, I don't want to make it out to be us against them, that kind of stuff. The dude was speaking what I view as facts, and it shouldn't even be what I view as facts, because there shouldn't be a difference between one person's facts and another person's facts, Grizz.
Right.
This is, you know, what is what it is.
Man, facts is facts. See, what got me, and I'll just stick specifically to the clip you played, was the brother hit him with facts, and the opposite guy, the guy on the other side of him, was deflecting. He kept trying to dismay the facts that the brother was doing. When the brother say the Indians were the original people of this land, and you need to go back where you came, he couldn't address that.
Right.
He couldn't address it because those are facts, and facts are facts. You can't have two versions of the truth.
Unless it's alternative facts.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
thank you, Jay.
And we know a little bit.
And they want those. They believe those to the nth degree.
Well, you know, first of all, Riz, I don't know why, but people actually like you. And so,
charming, bro. I'm charming.
Laurel, well, I love you. So I guess that's you know, we you know, throw me in there as well. But Cousin Terry and Laurel are both specifically saying peace to Jay Grizzy.
Peace, y'all.
Ain't
Hey,
no
Laurel.
ain't no hashtag with Marcus J. Live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. We getting a caller. Caller, you are rocking with Ain't No Half Step with Marcus J on Legacy Internet Radio. What's your name? What you want to rock with us about?
Hey, Marcus. Hi. Hi, it's Laurel.
Laurel.
Hey.
What's up,
hey,
sis?
Jay, you sure you're not Jewish? You have such a Jewish name.
I know. Green.
Maybe
that was some interview, and I have to say, you know, and my dog is talking. Oh. I have to say, you know, don't ask the question if you don't want the answer.
There you go.
True.
Yeah.
You know, he's entitled to his opinion, and he was absolutely right. We're not from this country. I mean, we stole it from the Native Americans. So, you know, I think that young lady has every right to do what she did. As a matter of fact, what she practiced was being an American.
Amen.
Because we're supposed to be able to do things like that. And if we can't do things like that, then we're not living in America anymore.
That's right, Lord.
And,
that's
you know, so that's what I got to say about that. I mean, I remember during the Vietnam War, people were burning the flags, people were protesting. Listen, my son's a former Marine, so, I mean, I respect the military, but you have a right to dissent.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I applaud her for standing up and saying, and not saying what she didn't want to say.
Right.
So anyway, I'm gonna let you guys go, but I'm gonna listen in because this is really a hot topic, and I know there's more.
You know we about to get it in. So keep listening because you might hear something. And you may want to call back or keep on rocking where you were rocking with us in the social media. So we love you, sis. Talk to you soon.
Okay, take care. All right, bye.
See you, Laurel.
Ain't No Half Step on Marcus J, live from the Den. Legacy Internet Radio. Grizz, you want to say something?
No, I just wanted to, speak to the caller, Laurel. Like, when we first started Legacy Internet Radio here in the Den, we had a #1 listener of all times. That was S.Y. Butler. We brought her into the fold. But I would dare say that Laurel has taken over that spot. You know, Laurel is the #1 listener. Okay, Laurel's the #1 listener, and so I'm just going to go ahead and designate you that, Laurel.
We appreciate it. Ain't No Half Stepping with Marcus J, live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. All right, so Q Boogie. Mm-hmm. We know what we just heard.
Yeah.
I want your opinion on what we just heard.
I'm sorry, I got distracted because 227's on.
Well, there's no place like home.
There's no place
with your
like
family
home.
around, you're never alone.
I'm thinking, I'm like, is it on Netflix?
And you back home.
I'm back home. I was so excited. I was like, is it on Netflix?
Before you jump in.
Yes.
My brother Hakeem, what up, bruh? Hakeem in Jersey is checking us out. Hakeem says, flagrant frown, the brother Cornell X hit the man where the ref was giving him the standard 8 count. Somebody give him the smelling salts. Yo, Hawk, that was the funniest thing like in the history of funny. Like seriously, because I'm bugging out off of it. So we appreciate that. Special shout out to my brother Coach Ship. Coach Ship is checking us out. Capital City Reapers championship football team. They had a championship game yet, but they're going to win. So I guess I might as well just go ahead and call
Speaking
you.
into the atmosphere.
Why even play? They like Golden State Warriors of Arena League football. Like, they going to win. They going to win. You know what I'm saying? And so it's all good. Ain't No Half Stepping with Marcus J, live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. I ain't going to waste no time because normally I waste a little bit of time. First, you got to come give me some love. There she go. There's my sister. She coming back. We ain't seen her in a minute and whatnot. It's been the first time in a while.
What's her nickname? What we call her?
She giving out some salutations, but before now she's done giving salutations. She's ready to come to the mic. We ain't seen her in a while.
I call her legs.
She always can come home, just like we just sang 227. When your family's around, you're never alone. I don't know if she's Pearl or Rose.
She's sitting on the porch, though.
She might just be Sandra, but in here she's our sister Didi. What up, Didi?
Didi.
Is my mic on?
Yeah.
Hey, fam.
Hey. Hold on, you gotta do the hand when you do it. Hey. What's up?
I can't do all
And
that.
I'm glad you walked in right when you walked in, because
Really?
when you hit me up and you told me when you was gonna be here, I was trying to stall and delay, and I'm about to go in.
Oh, really?
But you walked in right at the right moment. So Q Boogie, before we go into the main topic in this piece, I want you to finish the point you were gonna make. I asked you about the video that we just listened to. So give me your piece on that, and then we're gonna jump into Bill Maher and Kathy Griffin.
I think it's just so funny how people will try so hard to skip a point that they got themselves to.
Right.
He talked himself into it and then got upset when he got checked. And the frustrating thing about it is to watch this man basically try to bring down, what was it, Cornell X, or what was his name?
Cornell something
X.
like that. I'm sorry, brother. I can't remember exact way you pronounce it.
It wasn't Cornell West.
It wasn't Cornell. It was Cornell.
He looked like
X.
Frederick Douglass. That wasn't him.
Yeah.
He had so many points. He
Right.
wasn't wrong in anything that he says.
Right.
And what's so increasingly frustrating, and I think the bigger part of it, is that the majority is now realizing how much of a minority they are. And instead of just dealing with that reality, everything is a shouting contest. Everything is why can't we? And it's always, well, I didn't do anything.
Right.
Why is it? And he came to him with facts. And I guess you thought you were picking with you had the pick me Negro.
Right.
And when he proved not to be the pick me Negro,
Yeah.
you basically tried to son him, but he's sunned your son.
Here's the thing that I trip off of. Though. Here's the thing that I trip off of, right? First of all, not all, but a lot of white people get in their feelings when black people check them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I get that we're talking about 2017 and everybody's equal and the whole pull yourself up on the bootstraps and all that kind of stuff that we say publicly in front of people that we're supposed to say, because that's the politically correct way to be. But there are still a lot of black people walking around scared of white people, and there's a lot of white people walking around feeling like they're superior to black people. That's some real talk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we're not going to act like that's not the real talk. That's the real talk. It's a lot of black people walking around scared of white people, and it's a lot of white people walking around feeling superior to black people. So that's the backdrop. So having said that, first of all, we're getting a shout out from our brother Big Bro Joe. He's saying peace to the crew. And Coach Ship says, what up, DD?
Hey, Coach.
But here's my thing with it, right? When you have this conversation and we lay out the way it went down, and we can break it down to where they teach you about Thanksgiving when you're 7 years old, and they tell you that these benevolent white folk came over on the Mayflower and the Nina and the Pinta, and all of that, and the Santa Maria, and they teach you that they came over and it was this great feast and all this kind of stuff. They didn't tell you how these white folks putting smallpox in the Indians' blankets and stuff so that they can get sick and die. Like, they don't tell you that. No. But when you talk about it, they say that you're being
the
nasty.
Mayflower. That's what they came over.
Yeah, and they say that you're being racist. First of all, poor people can't be racist. Like, quit saying that. It's not real. It's not real. You can be a bigot. You can be an idiot. You can be someone that's prejudiced, but you cannot be a racist. You can only be a racist when you can affect a person's life. You can be a racist if you're a cop. You can be a racist if you hire and fire. You cannot be a racist if you cannot affect somebody's life.
Right.
You can be a bigot. And you can be prejudiced, but you cannot be a racist.
I.e. Archie Bunker.
He was not a racist.
No, he was a bigot.
He was a bigot.
Yeah,
right. Exactly. And so, but George Jefferson was a racist. But George Jefferson could be a racist. Why? Because he can hire and fire you.
True.
That's the difference.
He had a
There's
business.
There's an element of power that has to go with the word racism. So, having said that, that conversation I thought was outstanding.
Yes.
Not because it was a black dude checking a white guy. It's not even about
well,
that.
It's extra. He get a square point.
That was a bonus.
That was a bonus. But what it really was a guy in a debate that was clearly left with nothing to say. It was like,
why are you attacking me?
Yeah, exactly. You know, and for the white folk who say, I ain't got nothing to do with racism, I didn't do it, you did not do it, you didn't have anything to do with racism. But just like the benefit or the negative benefit, whatever the word for the negative benefit is, the legacy of race of slavery affects black people, it affects white people as well. It's what the essence of white privilege is. You have the benefit of being the default.
Right.
You have the benefit potentially, and not everybody, because there's some poor ass white folk walking around that's got it worse than some black people.
But they
I
love
get
Trump.
that too.
Right.
But but they love Trump.
They
But
love
you
Trump.
potentially may have benefited from your family stacking chips for generation after generation after generation.
Most of them on the backs of us.
And it was my granddaddy that was doing that
Right.
for you.
And then you as someone who wants so badly to be a part of the conversation, to be an ally, to be that
You mean
one,
the liberal whites?
Yeah, in a lot of ways, the moderates. You love they love to talk about how I didn't personally do anything, but in that same vein, you haven't done anything since then to try to help anybody. You haven't had a conversation. You haven't tried to check your own people.
And you scared to have the conversation because you feel attacked
Right.
when black people are pissed.
I have a
Right.
dilemma because I have a personal story, and maybe this would be the first time I'm sharing it, so I'm curious because I don't have a particular feeling about it, so I'm putting this out here to the ain't no half-stepping audience. In my genealogical research, I found out that before, granted, you know, of course, if y'all can see me, I'm black, or I got some black in me, so, you know, I'm a descendant of slaves, but about 10 years before the start of the Civil War, on my maternal side, there was a bunch of Quakers that lived in the Charles City County that freed my ancestors. So I was saying to myself, like, okay, they Quakers though. How could Quakers own, you know, just what Mark was saying in regards to what they Pilgrims, right? Pilgrims in Massachusetts that came over, like, how did you all of a sudden just start? And when I say free, they free like saying you're a free person of color. That don't mean you get the right to vote. I mean,
Right.
you know, they didn't give you any of that.
You're free.
So,
You're free light.
right. So I was sitting there debating, like, that means that the little bit of white blood that's in it, that means that they were good people because they felt like they was okay because they was Quakers and people of God. But I had to take a step back and it's like, no, you own slaves. In order for you to free a slave, you had to have owned one, you know? And so I was just like, when white people say, well, that I didn't do that, or, you know, or I didn't have anything to do with that, your ancestors did, to actually own an actual human being. And then to think that, oh, because you are quote unquote Puritan or a Quaker or a Pilgrim, or you was an abolitionist that was fighting to have us freed, you know, don't get no pass with me.
I think that it's important that
You had to cut your own mic
I think
off.
I think it's important. Yeah, I had to do some producing off camera. from that.
Producing.
I think that it's important that when we have a discussion, like just think about your personal relationships.
Right.
If you have a discussion with someone that has to check you on something, and you take your personal feelings out of it, and then you look at the situation and say, you know what, I understand what you're telling me, and you're right, or you're wrong. Either way, but you just take the personal feelings out of it and you just listen to what the person is saying to you.
though.
I think that's important.
Yeah.
You have to do that. I'm getting a comment in from Laurel says, if we are part of the collective, then you're a part of it. So I totally.
I love her.
Well, yeah. I mean, she, you know, Laurel is conscious
She's
and
smart.
she
Yeah.
understands,
Yeah.
you know, and I think that it's important, and we're going to get to Bill Maher and Kathy Reverend, trust me, we're going to get to them, but I think it's
Boy,
important. I think it's important that when we have these discussions that we don't take them personally. You know what I mean? As a white person, you can't answer for everybody that's white, but what you can do is that white family member that's an asshole, you need to check them.
Right.
Just like with us, when we got
Marcus
that,
checked me, and I go left on the regular.
But you know what? I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that. So I can remove the analogy I was about to give, and I can go to some real talk.
To real talk.
You know, and that's not to say that I'm always checking you, because you come to me and you let me know where I waver.
Yeah.
This is important. This is what we do. This is what we're supposed to do.
Yes.
We're supposed to check our own.
Right.
And so if Dee Dee comes to me and she says to me, Marcus, you was tripping when you said or when you did this. And if I listen to her, whether I agree with her or not, I have to acknowledge and respect her perspective as someone who cares about me and cares about how I come across.
Yeah.
And so white people, it's the same thing with y'all. If you care about how you are portrayed or how you are viewed, then it's incumbent upon you, get your boy.
Right.
When your boy wilding out, because the reality is, if somebody call you a racist, you get pissed. White people, somebody call you a racist, you get pissed off. You get offended. Like, I'm not a racist. I am not a racist. How dare you call me a racist? Even though you just,
I've got 5 black friends.
yeah, you go through that. You go
We
through
having
that.
a Dear White People show tonight.
Yeah. I'm on black people meat. There's no way.
Let's get to Bill Maher.
Right.
Let's get to Bill Maher.
Oh God.
Let's get to
That was
Bill.
a good segue, only because I've been discussing this in other groups and disagreeing with certain people, but
I ain't even seen what I've seen what he said.
Hakeem has an
You ain't even
outstanding
got to.
point, and I want to get his point in
What's
before
up,
we
Hak?
move on. Hakeem says, expand the conversation. There were black slave owners. There were Indian slave owners.
Yeah.
There were Indian
and
slave
the
owners.
reality is, and I don't know
There
the
were white
guy's
slave-
name, and listeners, hopefully you can research this. And I can't remember the guy's name, but it was a black man who went to court and sued to be able to keep his slaves. It was a black man who sued to be able to keep his slaves that opened it up for the American white man to be able to progress in the slave trade. That's fact. I can't remember the guy's name. Someone researched that for me right now.
I think his name is Uncle Tom.
That's funny.
Now,
he was
That
a
was funny.
plantation owner.
You know the story
but
I'm talking
I don't
about?
think he was black as in us. He was
Well,
of another.
but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
Now, Uncle
I
Tom.
want to say it was somebody who owned one of the sugarcane plantations, either
South
in,
Carolina, New Orleans.
No, not. But it was here in the United
It was
States.
a black man here in the United States that, because what it was indentured servitude.
Yeah, they had a
And
lot of that.
What was happening was, after a certain
Production
amount of
break.
time,
It's 5 to 7
they
years.
they were becoming free.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, they still owe me money. And so I don't want them to be free. So I want them to be able to be slaves until their debt is clear.
But
so
were
he
they-
went to court.
Were they black and white slaves? Because indentured
Servitude.
servitude was completely different.
It's way
than
different.
slavery.
It is.
You were
It is.
able
But
to
it
get
evolved.
out.
It evolved.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
because
evolved.
most people that came over on the Mayflower and on those other ships were indentured servants.
One
but
thing-
the black people that came over on
We
the
were
ships
slaves.
were slaves. They had no choice.
One thing that I do want to correct.
And that's
before
how
we-
I got my complexion.
One thing, yeah, piss color,
Indentured
right?
servants got with the slaves.
It was
and-
like piss color, right?
Yeah, and I ended up piss color. That's right.
That's a Jay Grizzy phrase. I didn't make that up.
That's right.
Yeah, that's a
Piss
Jay
color.
Grizzy phrase. But one thing that I do want to correct, Uncle Tom was an ally. It was Sambo. I think a lot of times
Sambo.
we confuse Uncle Tom with Sambo. Uncle Tom was one that was helpful to black people. It was Sambo that was the ass. So if you go back and you read Uncle Tom's Cabin,
I had to read that.
if you go
Yep.
back and you read Uncle Tom's Cabin,
I didn't know that.
So anytime you hear a black person call another black person Uncle Tom and they mean it in a derogatory term,
They trying
you
to
know
say that.
wrong.
they're yeah, that's not the way
They're
you're
trying to
supposed
call
do it.
you a Sambo.
They trying to call you Sambo. Ain't no how to step
That's even worse.
Let me get one more
Right.
comment in, and then we're gonna get to Bill Maher for real. Cousin Terry says white people's feelings of superiority is actually rooted in fear of the underlying power and potential of black people, and black people's fear of some whites is rooted in history, and some accept that position. Those that don't, young or old, who take a stand are viewed as a threat. For the ones saying I didn't do it to you, I say you are betting from it while
Right.
others suffer from it. That is
Right.
absolutely the comment of the night.
Right.
Terry, you got the comment of the night. Ain't no how to step with Marcus J. Live from Dan Legacy on the radio. All right, Bill Maher. Bill Maher had a guest on the show Friday night. It was a senator, and the guest said that, Bill, you need to come and rock. I'm paraphrasing, I'm saying it in my own language. You need to come rock with us, man. Come to the field and rock with us. He said, nah, son, I'm a house Nword. That's what Bill Maher said.
Trying to be funny.
He was trying to be funny, tell a joke, but he elicited the.
Was he saying it to another brother?
Bill Maher, basically, let me say it one more time. Senator comes on
'Cause I don't
and
know.
says you need to come to my state and work in the field with our people. so
Sound like a
that we can
Democratic
help.
senator.
It was a Republican senator.
Really?
You need to come to our state in the field and work with our people. He used the word in the phrase "in the field." Bill Maher's response, because he is a comic, he said, "Nah, man, I'm a house." And he said the full word.
Right.
And immediately,
No A, no ER.
well, for me that
I
doesn't
know that was.
But the crowd that was there was some oohs and ahs. There wasn't any real palpable response to it.
Right.
But of course, social media got a hold of it, and you had a lot
Like
of people who have issues with Bill Maher. There's some that are looking for him to be called to be fired and all that kind of stuff. So, Grizz, as a comic, I want your, because you know all about saying inappropriate, and I'm not taking a shot at you, but you know all about saying appropriate things for the purposes of humor. Mm-hmm. What's your thoughts on that?
I think that's where Bill Maher, and again, for the record, I didn't even see it. I cut my HB off a long time ago, but I'm going wireless, but right. Yeah. But I mean, all right. So in the context of the way you described it, he's trying to play a pun on words in regards to being in the field, AKA. And then Bill Maher thought it was okay because he felt like he's a center-left kind of libertarian kind of talk show host, comedian / controversial. He thought it was okay to go there. Now, my personal thought was, nah, bro, it's not okay. It's not okay to go there, even to make a joke, even to make it, a pun or a play on words. It's just not okay. But in the same respect, I've noticed, now that we're in this Trump administration, these Trump years, that the right and the white nationalists are playing up this free speech card to the point where they feel like, okay, we can say what we want, when we want, how we want, and we will call out the left and the liberals and everybody else for saying what and it's totally fine. I have no problem with the free speech argument, because, like I said, I like my racism with no sugar. I like it right up front. Speak, let it be known who you is. You know what I'm saying? So in this regard, I don't think Bill Maher had any ill intent. I think he has a legacy, a body of work in the comic field and doing his show that shows that he didn't have any intent with it. He was trying to make a joke. Poor joke. You can't go there. That's just like what Tracy Morgan did with the handicap thing. Like, he went there. Sometimes, honestly, comedians, we will say stuff just like, quick-witted and, the hell with the consequences almost. Like, and I'm sure that's what Bill Maher is saying. He's like, the hell with the consequences. It came out, I said it. I haven't seen a Bill Maher statement apologizing. Has anybody seen one yet?
No.
He did apologize.
Really?
He actually apologized?
He apologized pretty much immediately. Because once the firestorm came out, people coming at him saying, "Oh my God, you actually said the N-word." Mm-hmm.
Right.
He did apologize.
But the firestorm about it is probably coming more from the bleeding liberal white folk than it is coming from me as a black man. I'm not.
I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I'm not boycotting. I like his show.
Well, let me ask you this.
Right.
Let me ask you this. Why do you say that? Why do you think that it's not you as a black man versus the bleeding heart liberal? Like, who do you think is pissed about this, and why do you think they are?
I think the liberals are pissed about it because it opens the debate for people to challenge everything they say. And this is something that, like, when we was watching the clip earlier, and I said to myself, like, I don't like these debate shows where these, one-on-one, ring the bell, point, counterpoint type of thing, because it's a wider discussion that needs to be happening here instead of this, I got you type of, on a point, counterpoint type of thing. But I think that liberals don't want to have the discussion of, they don't want to let these racists out. Because when you suppress free speech, and this is what the Trumpisms is doing these days, when you don't let them go to Cal and let them espouse their racial overtones or their racial speeches, then they're forced to go underground. They're forced to go to Fox News. They're forced to not let themselves be heard. But now that they got Trump as the voice, I want this is just my personal. I want to hear all the racism y'all got, America. Like we haven't gotten enough, but I want to hear it.
No, I can dig it, Grizz. Basically, what I'm hearing, if I'm hearing you right, don't be a punk. Show me your racist card, so I know what I'm dealing with.
Exactly. That's fair.
Cute Boogie. I gotta always say it like that. What you got, Boogie?
I call her Solange.
I will take
Solange rocked the short joint
She
too.
did, and she was.
But you know what though?
Wow.
Cute Boogie did the big chop.
Yeah, she did.
She did the big.
Y'all
she
see
did the
it,
big
y'all?
chop.
Down for the big
She
chop.
did the big
I
chop.
love the big chop.
I like it.
I've
I
done
like it.
2
My
minutes
first time
now.
ever doing
Oh,
it.
really?
She did the
Yeah.
big
That took
chop.
balls.
Never been
I ain't gonna
Yes.
lie, because when you were last here, the first and last month,
She was
you
flowing.
told me that you was gonna do it, and you told me offline that you was gonna do it. I was like, you gotta send me a picture, you gotta send me a picture, you gotta send me a picture.
It's addictive.
And so she sent me a picture, and I was fortunate because I got the picture right before it hit social media, like 5 minutes before it hit social media.
Because I was just, I
It was
just
like
got it. Dude.
5 minutes before it hit social media, so I was privy. And then it went out, and I was like, yo,
that's
Dope.
because
It actually happened.
because you had like a serious
She
crown,
had.
Yeah.
a serious crown.
I saw it.
You know, so but anyway, what's your thoughts on what we talk about, Bill Maher? And before you do it, Senator Ben Sasse, Republican from Nebraska.
Nebraska.
So I want to make sure that we get the full information out.
That's hilarious. Like we talked about offline, I still don't know why Bill Maher keeps getting uncanceled.
Did you say keeps getting lung
He
cancer?
keeps
Uncanceled.
getting uncanceled.
Uncanceled.
It's like
Uncanceled.
because this is the same man, and I want to speak a little bit on what I want to speak a little bit on what Grace was talking about before. This is the same man who brought what's his name, Yiannopoulos, the guy that's
The racist
the
guy.
racist guy. He's the same. Bill Maher knows exactly which line to play, and
Right.
it could be both a good thing and a bad thing. He knows that he can appeal to this particular person right here while ignoring this particular person over here. What bothers me so much about what he did is that I don't see it, me not being a comedian, but I'm someone who has studied comedy since I was a kid, just because I've always been interested in it. And so
She funny.
I be trying, and then but my my boyfriend is a comedian, so he and I studied together, and there's a thin line between you being comedic and you being just offensive, and comedians have that ability to toe that line. But what Bill Maher did was just let me be as offensive as I can be for the sake because I know I can. What really pisses me off, and we were talking about this yesterday off some friends of mine. White, cis, Christian males, even though Bill Maher isn't Christian, love to pretend they're oppressed. They love to feel like they got something that's, everybody's against me. Who is it? You own everything. Who is against you? You own all the things. You have the power to hire and fire. You have that ability. So you walking around as a cis white male feeling oppressed because the thing that is being oppressed is your freedom of speech. The thing that people don't talk about when it's freedom of speech is that once you cross that line, now it is hate speech.
Yes.
Freedom of speech, that does not cover hate speech. That's the thing that people keep missing. So people love it, basically that Trumpian demographic loves to talk about how their free speech is being infringed
They
upon.
want that.
But their free speech is mainly just maligned, angry, racist rhetoric that they found on the Blaze and Breitbart. And there are too many people that are coming up and saying that these things are okay. Like the ACLU got in trouble for taking up for Milo Yiannopoulos. But by saying that, well, it is his free speech. It's his First Amendment. But there is a line there. Once you're doing and saying things that could potentially harm or bring harm to someone, it's no longer free speech.
I disagree. And here's what I'd say, L Boogie, with that.
A few minutes ago, she was J Boogie.
What I say? L
And then
Boogie.
just now
I
you
done
said
made
L
a Lauryn
Boogie.
Hill
You gonna go through the whole?
alphabet, right?
Damn, I cussed again.
Boy, got me today, boy.
You just, I just cussed
My
again.
bad, J Boogie. I got him though.
This is the second time in a
Right, I
row
got
that you
him.
was here.
I
You
got
got me
him.
to drop a damn F-bomb. You son of a gun.
Right.
You made me sick, yo.
Son of a gun. Yeah,
I
got
missed
him.
it. I
I
missed
just
it. I
dropped the
didn't
F-bomb
hear
by
it.
accident.
You did. I didn't even hear you.
I heard it.
You mean to tell me I called myself out by accident and I didn't even get caught?
I didn't hear it. Nobody
Let me
heard
before I
it.
forget.
Shit.
Before I forget why. There you go. Before I forget my disagreement. You got a comment?
Before, yeah, I got a couple
Okay,
comments,
go,
but
go.
keep your train of thought.
So all right.
L Boogie, no.
Shit.
J Boogie, no.
No.
Q Boogie,
I said Q.
no. That's the right one.
You didn't.
You said all of them, but that one.
He is officially
Short-term
in timeout.
memory loss is shot.
Let me get these comments
Go ahead,
in,
go,
Grizz,
go.
before
Okay.
I take you out of. You in timeout until I get these comments.
All right.
Hakeem says he saw a clip from the Chappelle show on race, and he had a white man in quotes, says the word several times. No one called for Dave's head, horrible double standard or not.
I agree, Hakeem.
Yeah, I mean,
I agree.
there is. I mean, and if you listen to me, you know that I got issues with anybody who says the word.
Yeah, you do.
You know, anybody, black people, white people. I don't feel any more or less venom towards a person because of their melanin count for saying the word. I know that black people don't say it in a nasty, derogatory way, and I
But
know that
it's-
white people, when they say it, they say it with an extra little seasoning on it that has a little bit
And
of.
they don't use seasoning on
They,
the green beans.
they say it in a way that
Y'all-
they're trying to be hurtful.
That's
but for
another
me,
thing.
Come on,
I
we gonna
need to
get it
be
back to you,
I need to
Jay
be
Buck.
consistent. And for me, in the interest of consistency, I don't want to hear nobody say it.
So let Jay Grizzly be inconsistent.
One more comment. Yeah, and that's why I'm glad you had to edit that last issue of The Last Laugh because you said that shit too many damn times. Terry, I'm coming to you, Book.
I know,
I'm coming to you.
I know.
Terry says, I don't think Bill should lose his job, but I do wonder what message it would send to others. I also think he's going to be the male martyr, as Kathy Griffin is the female martyr. I 100%. Damn, Terry, you on it tonight? Damn. Grizz had a comment.
No,
You gonna
I
defer?
concede the balance of my time to J Boogie. I got it right?
No.
L Boogie, J Boogie, Q Boogie. All right.
You got 26 chances to get it right.
We gonna go through all of them tonight, right?
You gonna go through
I
all
don't know
of
why I
them.
got J Boogie in my head.
All right, go
I
ahead, Z
concede the
Boogie.
balance of my time.
Go ahead, W.
W.
My bad, K Boogie. Go ahead.
Go down the list.
No, seriously, B Boogie. Go ahead.
You know
Why you
what?
taking so long?
I'm
You
not
taking
even
so
gonna
long
tell
to
you why
answer?
I'm getting J Boogie from.
All right. It's two quick points I had.
Okay.
One, I think I know what Hakeem is talking about. I think he's talking about that skit that's in the second season. I'm a nerd. That's in the second
No,
season of the Chappelle
that's true
show.
shit.
The joint with the. Can I spell it?
Go ahead. N-I-G.
Family.
Yeah, I know it.
Listen.
Family. Like I know
Yeah.
which one he's talking about, and I get that, but that was also written by a black man. So I'm like, but
Thoughtfully.
and then another thing is like, is there
Did you
anything?
say,
Yeah, because I'm
okay.
like, yeah, but
I thought it was
it's not
funny
the
as
same
hell.
thing. I thought it was hilarious. The greatest thing. Oh, this racism is killing me inside.
And
like,
Neil Brennan helped him write it.
right. So I'm like, I get that, but Bill said this on his own accord. So it's not like somebody wrote it
was
for him.
spontaneous
And then just an aside, the fact that we were talking about stuff not being in season. White people looted and just conquered the entire world for spices and don't use none. I'm confused.
I'm going to take that if nobody has used it. I am going to take
It's like
it.
y'all took the entire
They had a
world
coal company
and-
called the
right.
East Indian Company.
And killed
Looking for
all
tea.
these. Looking for tea. Killed all these people. Slaughtered, genocide, and don't
Cayenne
use
or
none of
curry,
it.
Nothing.
Except for our girl Laurel. Laurel throw down in the kitchen.
Laurel got a
Laurel got it.
And we were talking about that earlier. Got an open invitation to the cookout. But
Yeah.
why is it y'all did an entire around the world in I don't know how many years and killed so many people in the name of quote unquote
looking for some
spices
salt.
and don't use none.
Looking for some Lowrys.
Hakeem said it's the Clayton Bigby piece.
Yeah, okay, he's talking about Clayton Bigby.
Oh no, that was.
But he was.
That's the blind racist.
Yeah,
that's the blind
that
black
was
man.
fun.
That's
Yeah.
the blind
Funny.
black man. That's
Okay.
the KKK member.
Here's my thing about it.
Go ahead, Leg.
I'm Bill Maher since before. I mean, back what? I think the first time I saw him
Politically incorrect.
Yeah,
First time I saw him was in DC Cab.
was
you taking it
no,
back.
he did a HBO stand up back in the early '90s.
Yeah,
this
DC
was
Cab
right
was in
around
1983.
when Seinfeld. Oh, really? This is when Seinfeld came out, and like he anyway. I wish you would have. I've liked him since then. I like Bill Maher. He says some stuff, some out there stuff. He says some stuff like whatever. It makes me think. My thing with that was, and I made this point in another group, if Trevor Noah had said the same thing,
Nobody would have said no.
nobody would have said anything. I've seen it in stand-up, like you say, Marcus, there's plenty of, black comedians say that. Dave Chappelle says it.
I say
I saw the clip. The way he said it, it was just off the cuff. I laughed. I'm not going to lie, I laughed. It's like,
You lost your black card because you laughed? No.
But I don't think he should be fired for that.
They coming for his
However, people he should be fired. He should be fired.
Nah.
Yeah.
However,
Chance the Rapper did like a whole thing on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm
He
gonna
got
go,
like-
I'm gonna go
Yeah.
to that. I'm gonna go to that.
however, he knows the consequences of that word. So whatever happens to him, happens to him.
True.
That's my thing about it. I'm not saying that I'm out here gonna march and
For Bill Maher.
march for him or against him.
Right.
But he knows, I'm sorry, but he knows the consequences of saying that word. He needs to,
You gotta eat
Wait,
it.
wait.
And knowing
Gotta
Bill
eat it.
Maher, he was probably lit that night.
So here's my deal on it.
Gotta eat
Right?
it.
Here's my deal on it before we move on to Kathy Griffin. Here's my deal on it, right? When I saw it, and I'll be honest with you, I saw it after the firestorm.
I did
So
too.
I went looking for it to see what the big deal was.
I did too.
And I just didn't think it was that big of a deal.
I didn't think it was
Personally,
either.
They cut it out of the HBO
personally, I
one.
didn't. Personally, they let it was live on the East Coast,
Yeah.
and then on the West Coast it was on tape. They let it fly on the West Coast airing, and then they edited it out
Yeah.
for subsequent airings. But here's my take on it. Right. First of all, let me just be clear. It's never okay for anybody, black, white, or other, to use the word.
I get that.
However, I am evolving with my feelings on the word, and this is recently, with regards to the usage of it. I'm never okay with the usage of it, but it does not sting quite as much for me when it's used in purposes of education and purposes of legacy. Here's what I mean by that. If you look at how the Germans view the swastika, it's a banned symbol. You cannot walk around with a swastika in Germany. However, if you see it in a museum, then it's not a big deal. That's how I feel the N-word should be. And so, black, white, or other, Huckleberry Finn, Tom Sawyer,
It's in literature.
Soul on Ice, black people, Eldridge Cleaver, or freaking Samuel Clemens. What's the dude's name? Mark Twain.
Hell, Samuel Jackson.
If you use it in a certain kind of context, for me, just for me, and this is a new phenomenon for me.
It's a
is
phenomenon,
new.
ladies
It's
and
new
gentlemen.
for me.
Y'all checking this
It
out?
doesn't
Facebook?
sting for me quite as much. Now, I think that he was way off for using it, but I understood what he was saying. It came out so quick because field house.
The spirit.
Field house. You know what I mean?
we
Like
all-
he said it in a way that black folk would have said it.
Yes.
That's how we talk.
Yeah.
That's how we talk.
You're right.
And so because that's how we talk, and we know from watching Bill Maher that he has been very black friendly with
Yes.
some of his tirades and
he's
some
put
of
his
the
penis
things, some
in a
of
lot
his
of black women.
issues. That too.
So, I'm just saying.
That too.
Yep.
That's
And
true.
so I'm not justifying
No,
it,
he was
but
a
I will
superhead for a
hold
while.
I will hold his black friends to task
And say,
for
look.
being so casual with the usage of the word around him that empowered him to make him feel like he can use that joint. I'm not giving him a pass. Diddy wouldn't get it passed. Jay Grizzy wouldn't get it passed.
Never get a pass.
X Boogie wouldn't get it passed.
Y'all gonna do that all night, huh?
Yo, if I do another protest, I'm gonna go out there as X Boogie.
Nobody, for
Boogie
me,
X.
nobody, including T Boogie, wouldn't get past him.
We going through the whole alphabet tonight.
But I'm saying, I understood where he was
Right.
trying to go. You don't get it passed, and I don't care what happens to you. They fire you, they just fire you. Do I think you should be fired? No. But if they do fire you, I'm not gonna cry my beer over you.
He got enough money.
I mean,
Can I
Jump in.
He'll just start
before we
a thing
go
on
to the
Netflix.
Kathy Griffin part? What I was saying in regards to why I would disagree with Miss Boogie
That's Boogie.
is that
You hear him, P Boogie?
right?
Can you believe this?
Here's my point. The right is leveraging what the left used to do against them. What the left does is we use the press, we use insensitivity, we use political correctness to tell the right you can't be racist. We don't want this on the airways. We don't want this in the country's social consciousness. We don't want it at all. And then when the right wins an election, steals it, however you want to say it, when they start doing it, now the left is like, oh, you can't say that, you can't do it. No. Let it all out. This is the problem in America, is that we have never diarrheaed the race out. And so that's what we need in order to progress. Yeah,
He means shit.
I know.
I was trying to clean it up.
I figured.
But America, and see, the only way America can shit it out is
He means shit, H Boogie.
you need an X-Lax. You need an X-Lax. You need something to shit it out. And so after you take an X-Lax, you feel better afterwards. But what the left is doing is saying, nope, don't even take the X-Lax. Hold that in.
Yeah.
Hold it in, Trump. Yeah. Hold it in, white nationalists. Hold it in, racists. Hold it in, KKK, because we're going to make it illegal for you to espouse your hate. I can take the hate.
I don't agree with that.
I can take it.
Let me get.
I got 6 shots. I can take it.
Let me get a comment in, and then I want ladies, both of y'all, to tell him very quickly why you don't agree with it. Then I'll move on to Kathy Griffin. Let me get these comments in first. Laurel says she doesn't think that it's ever okay. We had this conversation on another show. For her personally, she was raised to never call anyone a derogatory name. Terry says that was so right. One of you mentioned Trevor Noah. She agrees with you. And see, Terry says again, she's agreeing with me. She says I hit the nail on the head when I said that I hold his friends to task for making him feel so comfortable to say the word. And I feel strongly about that. Didi, you up first, real quick. Why you disagree with him? And then I Boogie. I want you to say this. Why?
Yo, if I do an app, I'm gonna call it I Boogie.
my statement to Jay, I mean, and that's his opinion, that's his feeling, but my analogy is with the Nazis and how Germany, they didn't shit anything out. They stopped the shit, period. Simple as that. It was
through war. I mean,
no, not through war. Actually, after that.
No, the Nazis got stopped through war.
Yes, but you still had
leftover Nazis.
Leftovers who were still
propaganda
espousing it, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't until after the
fall
of the wall that all of that stopped.
They made it. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's it. That's my analogy.
I get it.
Truth be told, the reason why, for me, I don't agree with it is, it's not as if, I mean, I'm not going to sit up here and say I'm like this huge liberal, that's all this, but a lot of people are talking about political correctness, but I really just think it's everybody does not have the allowance to just be an asshole. Right. Like, you can't just come out and say anything you feel. Anything you say that about, because yeah, you can say it up and down, like, you know, this person did the right and all the other stuff, said all these things. But for the longest time, nobody could say anything else to white nationalists, to people like that. Trump has lived his entire life with people telling him yes. And because of that type of...
It's the reason that causes somebody like Trump to rise to power.
Right. So to me, it's not political correctness. It's just being a decent human being.
Well,
Yes.
so here,
Yes.
Marcus, if you allow me, give me 30 seconds, and